I'm going to show you in one of the daily texts how Watchtower devalues what we do in our daily lives, our normal human tasks, duties, and relationships. This daily text boldly declares that a Christian's day-to-day activities are not part of his sacred service. I think their agenda here is so transparent. If you read many of these daily texts, they emphasize for the most part three things as your sacred service: obeying the slave, preaching, and meetings. All things that advance their organizational agenda. This is a very oppressive belief. It will steal away the joy from all those ordinary and mundane moments of life and cause a kind of negative energy and uneasiness, thinking you should always be somewhere else, doing some spiritual and special works. Martin Luther also dealt with such a religious system that created higher classes of special Christians, doing special works, becoming monks and doing super spiritual stuff like wearing a hair shirt or climbing up steps on bleeding knees. From a human viewpoint, these super Christians can look so impressive. But Luther teaches us the total opposite. He teaches Christians not to look for special works and to serve God in their various vocations or spheres, such as sister, mother, friend, neighbor, or whatever our employment might be. All these things are sanctified as we do them in faith, as unto the Lord, and to serve others. And this is what pleases God. Luther called our vocations or spheres masks of God. Although the people carrying them out look like ordinary humans, God is using them to fulfill His purposes. I love how Luther points out that so often ordinary duties are sometimes harder to do faithfully than exciting and special holy works. He said that they provide a rule more stringent than all the monks. Sometimes religious-type works have a glittery appeal to the flesh, as they can make us stand out, get recognition, or let us feel we are better than someone else. Luther even said that at times they are more likely to cover a villain than a pious Christian. He said, "Every pious husband, servant, maid, or faithful worker, therefore, must be said to have a station that is excellent, high, and godly." The great power of this teaching is that it transfigures ordinary life. All your duties, all your work is work that God Himself has called you to. It has purpose, it has dignity. No matter how difficult, lowly, or hard it is, God Himself has called you to it. So it is of eternal importance. And if we truly learn to live our life this way, it will increase our joy so much. Martin Luther even wrote an essay on the holiness of changing diapers, which I love, so I put a link to it in the info box. A few more points on this teaching that only so-called theocratic activities qualify as sacred service. One is that it marginalizes so many people. What about people who are just trying to make enough to feed their families and have to work several jobs? What about people that are ill or disabled? What about someone who's practically shut in because they must care for someone else, be it a newborn baby or an ill or elderly relative? What about someone on their deathbed? Are they of no use to God anymore? Perhaps at times, sacred service for some is just getting through the day, right? Secondly, this distorted teaching can even cause people to neglect other people and their needs in our various spheres because we are so focused on external works that glitter deceptively, works that others can see and admire.